The Wayfinder team has recently made their way over to PAX West, and on their way to PAX West, they stopped and did an airport AMA. They did this AMA via the official Discord, and in this video, we're going to go over some of the more important questions, or some of the ones that I thought were very interesting that were asked and answered. So all of the questions were asked by the Wayfinder community, and the answers were given primarily by Solid Age, Cam, and Sir Snarf. And we have the AMA recapped for you guys over at studioloot.com if you don't want to sift through the entire question and answer session in the Discord, because there were a ton of other people and a ton of other commentary going on in the Discord. So if you're only interested in just the questions and answers, you can come to studioloot.com and find those. But again, for this video, we're going to go over the ones that I thought were the most interesting, and there are a ton of other ones at the bottom of the article that you can check out. So the first question is a question that I've seen asked a lot on my stream, and it is, will there be a reset when free-to-play starts? And the answer to that is no. Right now with early access, we do know that this is permanent progression from here on out. So if you're playing at this point, your progression will not get reset, and that was just clarified here in the AMA. Another question that was asked that I've seen floating around a whole lot is, will you change how we will farm Pyre in the future? It's kind of boring to hop from server to farm him, and I agree. So thank goodness they do have an answer for this, and they say, yes, we have plans for a global timer with notifications. So hopefully that'll come sometime in the future, but that's the answer we got. So we do know now that there are going to be changes coming to some of those bosses out in the open world, which should be great. The next question is an ETA on Affinity Respec. This is one that I see asked a ton, and one that myself am very excited to get into the game, because I have screwed up on some of my affinities on some of my Wayfinders. And they also went on to say, now that the servers are a lot more stable, I've been loving the game, keep it up. And I have too. I agree with that sentiment. So they said the Affinity Respec is coming with the next Founders season. So unfortunately, we're not going to get an Affinity Respec with season 1, but that will be coming with the next Founder season. So we can expect to be able to respec our Affinity then, which is great news, because I am super ready to have some respecs, so I don't feel so bad about the mistakes that I make along the way. Then there was a question asked that said, what exactly changes loot-wise when you change spheres? Which I thought was pretty interesting, because I also wanted to know the answer to this question. So this one was answered, and they said currently it multiplies the amount of resources dropped and level of accessories, and it may have loot table implications in the future. So if you're looking for obviously higher level accessories, you're going to want to change your sphere to the highest level and then go farm that in order to obtain those high level accessories that you're looking for. Then we have, are mounts expected for season 2? And it's just quick and easy answer. Yep, mounts are expected to come into the game with season 2. Are there any plans to change how reagents like trickster coins and archaic bones are farmed? I'm having fun grinding these bosses for weapon parts, but those are a pain. So the answer was yes, absolutely. Event-specific currencies will be much easier to acquire next season, which I think is going to be a great change, because I do agree farming those things can be quite the pain, and it's a little bit much in my opinion, and so it's good to know that we have some changes coming in for those. How do you feel about how the imbuements work and what the community is thinking about them? Any plans to change the environment behaving, making it a little more melee friendly? Looking at you, Flora. And yes, whenever you run a Flora imbuement, if you're a melee, especially if you are solo, Flora is awful. If you have a gun in your hand, Flora is super easy, obviously. But if you are all melee and you're running those Flora imbuements, I agree, they are quite a pain. So the answer was, we do have plans to adjust single imbuement mutators due to feedback. So thank goodness that some of that stuff is getting adjusted. Next question, saw the new slides on the roadmap. Do we have an ETA for the Echoes version 2? And is the Frost March expansion related to the content patch or different? So if you guys don't know, they do have a complete roadmap released, or probably not a complete roadmap, but a roadmap showing you some upcoming things coming to Wayfinder on the Wayfinder website. Just go to the website, you can click the roadmap link, and it'll take you right over there. But the answer to this question was both of those will most likely be coming with a free-to-play launch. So we can expect some rework to Echoes or Echo version 2, and then the Frost March expansion coming along with free-to-play, which is roughly 6 months away, I think. So hopefully the ecosystem will include things like some filters and some other nice things to sort through the ecosystem, because right now that's one of the biggest complaints I see for the actual gameplay of the game, is that the ecosystem is a bit cumbersome, and I would agree with that. The ecosystem is a lot to take in, and whenever you start to accumulate a ton of echoes, it really does start to have performance impact on your game, or at least I've noticed that. I've definitely been experiencing that. So hopefully they will have some impactful changes coming for the ecosystem in the future, but unfortunately that's not going to happen until the free-to-play launch, which is a good ways away. This next question I found to be super interesting, because this is one that's been floating around the community for a while, and it's, how in the world do you do the super jump or the bunny hop? And they asked, will super jump or bunny hop get patched out? It's currently one of my favorite methods of travel, and it would be a shame to see it go. So the way I understand this is this wasn't an intended feature. This kind of just came in. A lot of players like it. So they said it's going to actually be implemented properly. The current version of it is leading to too many game-breaking bugs. So apparently this is something they like and they want to keep in the game, and they're going to implement it properly to be an intended feature, and I guess to work a lot smoother for a lot of the Wayfinders. Then the next one is also a really big one. This question asks, I know you guys said the Affinity reset is going to be there for Season 2, but the last missing point on Affinity, will it be patched before Season 2? And the answer was, this is actually a bug and we're going to fix this. So there was a follow-up question to this by someone else, and they said, wait, are we meant to have 30 points, or are people only going to be getting 28 or 29? The answer was, you are meant to be able to have 2 affinities at 15% bonuses and unlocking 4 perks total. So we are going to be able to get 30 points and be able to unlock 4 perks and spec into 2 complete affinities. I know that's going to be music to some people's ears because they get really, really triggered by only having 29 total points right now. So that's great news. That's happening. They said that's a bug. We're going to fix this. We don't have an ETA on that. They didn't give us any time frame for that at all, but we do now know that that is a bug. We're supposed to get more points than we get, and we'll be able to spec into 2 complete affinities, which is going to be pretty nice. And then we have a question about experience gain, and this is something that's floating around the community in a big way right now, because leveling up Wayfinders is honestly a bit painful since they nerfed the Scrolls repeatable quest. The Scrolls repeatable quest was a bit much in my opinion though as well. You got like 19,000 experience for doing that quest. I was actually able to level up Wingrave in just a few hours from 0 to 30. So it was a little bit much, but now they nerfed it, and they nerfed it almost, well, they really nerfed it into the ground. There's really no reason to go do that repeatable now because you only get like 500 XP, which is really next to nothing. So in my opinion, they were a little bit heavy-handed with that change, but nonetheless, here's what the question was. What kind of XP buff are going to be implemented to dungeons in response to having slow leechy level progression right now? The answer was, to be very clear, we fixed a bug. The scrolls will offset that, and I'll let Steve, the game director, comment further. I didn't see him comment any further in this particular AMA. I might have missed it. If I did, somebody please link that down below, or show what the answer was below. I went through the AMA pretty heavily. I didn't see anything in there for Steve's response, but hopefully that means we're going to get some fixes for XP in the future. They said that the scrolls turning in those repeatable quests, that was a bug. That was too much XP. We all figured that was coming. But then they said the scrolls will offset that, and I'll let Steve comment further. So the scrolls that they're talking about here is not the quest that you go turn those in. The scrolls they're talking about here are called some resonance scrolls, I think, in the game. And I think those are going to be something that's implemented at a later date to allow us to level up our Wayfinders a little bit easier. When that comes in or how those are going to work, nobody really knows yet. But that is going to be a method of leveling up Wayfinders, so that will be good. Those items are in the game now. You just can't use them. So hopefully this means we'll have a little bit smoother path to leveling Wayfinders to 30, because in my opinion right now, it feels a little bit rough to level up a Wayfinder from 0 to 30. So hopefully something will come in to smooth out that transition in the future. I would love to know what you guys think about the XP gain specifically right now. Do you guys think it's good? Do you think it's bad? How would you like to see that fixed? Because I personally think having 18,000 XP from doing those repeatable quests was a little bit too much. It was you were able to level Wayfinders way too fast, and I think we would run out of content really quickly if it was at that pace. However, now I think it's a little bit too far on the slow side. So I hope we find a happy medium there, but that's just my personal opinion. I'd love to know what you guys think about that as well. So the last question we have to go over in this video was, in the next patch, will you guys add more details to the patch notes so we're not surprised by shadow changes, and will you be more transparent? So the answer was yes. There's so many things changing and issues to address. I will personally make sure these improve every time. And I believe that it was answered by Cam. So I've seen this with a lot of other games. Whenever they first release, some things just get left out of the patch notes, not intentionally. It's just a matter of getting them in the swing of things and getting in the system of getting their patch notes written and out to us. And I think that'll be fine in the future. There were a few things that were patched in that they just didn't mention, and that's what they're referencing in this question. And I do think that as we progress, we'll see all of those things be completely transparent. I highly doubt that was something that was done on purpose or left out of the patch notes for a particular reason. I would imagine it was just an accident and they just simply just didn't add them. So I would fully expect to see that get improved over time. But that's going to do it for this one, boys and girls. That was the airport AMA. I found some of those things to be pretty interesting, especially the stuff about affinity and experience gain. I'm very interested to see how they're going to handle experience gain in the future. And the affinity stuff was very interesting to me too. I didn't realize that the 29 affinity was a bug. It is. We're meant to get 30 affinity and be able to max out 2 affinities to get 4 perks. So I thought that was pretty interesting as well. Just wanted to bring that information to you guys in case you were unaware. And again, if you want to see the complete AMA, you can go check it out on the official Wayfinder Discord, or you can come over here to studioloot.com. I'll make sure to drop a link to this article in the description below so you don't have to sift through the entire Discord to get all of the questions and answers. There were a ton more questions that were asked, but I didn't really find those to be super interesting, so I just left those out of the video, or else we'd be here for a while. That's going to do it for this one, boys and girls. Thank you guys so much for watching. We have a lot more Wayfinder content coming your way. If you enjoy Wayfinder content, please make sure to like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate that. And we stream every Monday and then again on Fridays. And then we have a weekend stream over at twitch.tv/BDLG. The streams typically start at about 8 a.m. CST. I'd love to see you come hang out over there. We have a fantastic time. But that'll do it for this one, boys and girls. Thank you again for being here. I appreciate it. We'll see you in the next one.